Tonight, a terrifying bus crash.
People were falling. So people started falling onto me and like glass shattered and went down that way.
Leaves a driver dead.
We know we have a driver who's deceased, and our main investigation is to find out what transpired.
And students from Waterloo region injured and shaken. Prison break-in.
This is the first time that I've heard of anything like this happening before.
The security breach and reported assaults on inmates.
Officers located the male suspect and arrested him.
At Kitchener's Grand Valley Institution. Suddenly closed.
So I think there is a bit of surprise that the decision has been made to close after so long.
A company that's been embroiled in legal trouble shuts the doors of its store in Waterloo. Good evening. We begin with a fatal start to an overnight school trip. A Kitchener school bus driver is dead after a crash on the 401 near London yesterday. The bus was carrying students from KCI in Kitchener when it veered off the road and into a ditch. CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us now live with the latest. Alexandra, do police have any idea yet what caused this crash?
Tony, the OPP tells us that's still under investigation. What we do know is that 4 students were taken to hospital with minor injuries. While there weren't any other serious injuries, students and families have been left shaken. An overnight school trip to Point Pelee took a deadly turn Sunday morning when a bus carrying dozens of students veered off the highway.
We did determine that the bus driver was pronounced deceased there at the scene.
More than 40 people were on the bus, most of them grade 9 students from KCI.
I was sitting on the right side towards the front of the middle.
Edie Hahn was watching a movie with her friend when she says the bus started shaking.
It was almost like I blinked and suddenly we were sideways and there were like there were a bunch of people just falling onto me and there was glass everywhere. I didn't feel like I was in my own body, like I was not experiencing that in the moment.
All 42 passengers managed to get out safely and no other vehicles were involved in the crash. 4 students were taken to a local hospital with minor injuries.
The front of the bus was almost like when you step on a soda can. It was just completely crumpled.
At the wheel was 52-year-old Mark Naylor, a veteran bus driver from Kitchener, remembered by his friends as a happy-go-lucky guy who loved his job.
No matter what happened, his first priority would have been to make sure that the kids were as safe as possible.
Bus drivers Bobby Joe Schnarr and Jessica Betcher say they've known Naylor and his family for years and were shocked to hear about his death.
He at some point touched base in our lives and was a hero when we needed him to be one.
And he was definitely a hero that day by getting off the road.
Police still investigating what caused the crash and Naylor's death.
We'll look at every option, every bit of information and evidence that can be gathered and put together.
In a statement to CTV News, the Director of Education for the Waterloo Region District School Board offered his condolences to Naylor and his family, adding in part, the safety and well-being of the KCI students and staff continue to be our top priority, and the school board's critical events response team will be available to those who need support.
I think school will definitely be difficult going there, because obviously people are curious as to what happened, you know, a lot of questions.
And of course, questions are still looming about what caused the crash and how the driver died. Police say at this point they're still trying to piece together what happened. Tony?
Okay, Alexandra, thank you. CTV's Alexandra Hollick with that report. A Kitchener man has been arrested and charged after a break-in and assaults on 2 inmates last night at the Grand Valley Institution for Women in Kitchener. Police say the suspect climbed a fence and got into the grounds of the federal prison. For more, let's go to CTV's Karis Mapp, who's been following this story. Karis, what have you learned about this today?
Well, Tony, I spoke with regional police earlier today who confirmed that 2 inmates were physically assaulted and say investigators don't believe the victims and suspect knew each other. Waterloo Regional Police were called to the Grand Valley Institution for Women Sunday night for reports of a break-in.
Police received a report that a male had climbed the fence and gained access to the yard and had assaulted 2 victims.
When police arrived, they found the suspect.
A 28-year-old Kitchener male has since been arrested, charged, and held for bail in connection to this incident.
The man was charged with break and enter, 2 counts of assault, and mischief under $5,000. But inmates say they're still nervous from the situation. Diane King has a friend currently serving time at the Kitchener prison. King said her friend, who was not involved in the incident, called her Monday morning to tell her about the break-in.
She was told to go into lockdown, like her and all the other inmates were told to go into lockdown. And her feeling was, if you can't even be safe in jail from people coming in and, to attack you, she felt very unsettled, very unsafe.
Officials with the Canadian Association of Elizabeth Fry Societies hearing similar concerns. The advocacy organization works to support incarcerated women in understanding their rights.
Of course, very upsetting, and we heard from people directly this morning who are incarcerated at the Grand Valley Institution, as well as their family members. They're feeling impacted, they're feeling shaken.
Adding, this is the first time she's ever heard of anything like this happening before. According to an emailed statement from Correctional Service Canada, the facility employs a layered security model combining dynamic and static measures to ensure safety. Grand Valley accommodates minimum, medium, and maximum security populations.
You don't get to choose your roommates in prison. That's hard enough. But then, some outside guy just comes in and assaults women. That was terrifying for her, absolutely terrifying.
The Elizabeth Fry Society adds they worry about the stigma that's associated with those behind bars being labeled as bad people.
We create an environment where harming people in prison is seen as acceptable. And now we have this situation where someone has broke into a penitentiary to cause people in prison harm.
In that email from Correctional Service Canada, it confirmed that the inmates remained on lockdown overnight, but the prison has since resumed to regular operations. Tony.
CTV's Karis Mapp live outside the Grand Valley Institution for Women in Kitchener. Karis, thank you. All right, let's turn to our first check on the weather. Heading over to Alex Pinto in studio now. We are into the month of November, and boy, does it feel like it. But we got a little bit of sunshine this afternoon.
Yeah, we did. The afternoon definitely a little bit nicer than it was first thing in the morning, where it was a lot of cloud cover, gray skies, and some wet weather. Rain potentially quite heavy depending where you are earlier in the day. But yes, the afternoon was quite lovely to get a little bit of that sunshine. We're noticing the earlier showers already making its way towards the east and a little bit further north as well. We also got to enjoy that beautiful sunset around 5:11 this evening as well. So pretty nice overall, and in store for a little bit more sun. Looking ahead to tomorrow, temperature-wise, sitting at 9 here in Waterloo region. Mount Forest also in the single digits, but some other areas, Toronto, Sarnia, Ridgetown, Windsor in the double digits and above seasonal right now. So definitely noticing a little bit of a cool down, especially early on in the morning hours. Coming up later, we'll let you know when we potentially could see a little bit more wet weather this week. Tony.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Talk to you soon. After years of allegations and legal battles, Dutchies Fresh Market in Waterloo has closed its doors. The locally owned grocery store has been the subject of dozens of complaints about unpaid workers and contractors. The Waterloo store was its last location here in the region. CTV's Jeff Pickle following this story for us tonight. Jeff, so this was the first brick and mortar Dutchies, although there were expansion locations that have also since closed.
Yeah, Tony, there was a very short run of a Dutchies on Bruce Street in Kitchener and also on Gateway Park Drive in the Sports World area. Both have already closed down. But despite all the negative attention and fines for not paying workers, the Waterloo location remained open until now.
With little warning, Dutchies on Herbs Road announcing Saturday the store is closing later that day, stating it's with a heavy heart that we announced Dutchies Waterloo will be closing. The store opened in 2010 after operating as a market stand for many years before. Dutchies stating affordability as their mission statement, saying, "We understand the struggles many face and we want everyone to be able to afford good food without financial hardship. But the hardships they became known for are the ones they placed on employees."
He didn't pay me 5 checks. It's 5 weeks.
Dozens with allegations of unpaid wages. In February 2024, the ice broke on former employees coming forward. Since then, dozens of others, as well as contractors who were owed money. In June of this year, the law finally catching up with Dutchies and business director Mike Renkema, who pleaded guilty to 13 violations under the Employment Standards Act.
So I think there is a bit of surprise that the decision has been made to close after so long.
Joanna Mullen is an employment lawyer with Waterloo Community Legal Services and has represented several former Dutchies employees.
The hope is that, at least from our office, we're not going to continue to have workers coming to us telling us the same story of having worked at this business and not being paid.
Victims tell us they are relieved to see that Dutchies has finally shut down, but they say there is some concern that by closing the store, that may reduce the ability to pay back some of those still owed money.
Whenever a business shuts down or ceases to operate, certainly there becomes a question about whether workers will be able to get paid.
According to Mullen, that doesn't mean the owner is off the hook.
So even if Dutchies Fresh Market no longer exists, that doesn't mean that the owner and director, Mr. Renkema, is not still responsible if there's a director order to pay issued against him.
The statement from Dutchies specifically thanked the store's employees and said success in business is not just about making profits, it's about relationships with customers, employees, and suppliers. Mullen says the former employees they work with feel the same.
It's my hope that the workers who have spoken out about this will now feel some satisfaction that a business that has preyed on vulnerable newcomers to our region will no longer hopefully be able to exploit those workers.
Now, in that statement, Dutchies also lamenting the negative attention they receive after the news about their treatment of their employees became public. They say their side of the story will be coming out soon. We reached out to Mike Renkema, who chose not to comment on the record. Tony.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle with that report for us. It is Crime Prevention Week in Ontario. That's a joint effort between the government and the province's chiefs of police.
We work very closely with youth because we know that to prevent a young person from entering a life of crime is incredibly complex and cannot be solved by one agency.
If you see it, report it. Meaning if you witness a crime or know of a crime that has been committed and have any information that can assist the police in holding those persons accountable, call us or report it to Crime Stoppers.
The focus of the campaign is collaboration between police, community organizations, and residents. More than a dozen dogs found abandoned on a rural road in Oxford County are now in the care of rescue groups. They all had matting, ticks, and eye issues when they were found. Ontario's Provincial Animal Welfare Service now stepping in to investigate the ordeal. Let's bring in CTV's Colton Weens now with more on the rescue efforts that have been underway. Colton.
Well, Tony, rescuers have taken in 14 dogs since Saturday, 12 males and 2 females. They're now in the care of several agencies who are working to get them healthy again. And rescuers also believe at least 4 more are missing, but say the animals appear to be scared and blend in well with the surrounding bush. This was the scene for animal rescuers on Saturday night, trying to secure a group of dogs found running on the side of Concession Road 8 between Innerkip and Bright.
It very quickly became a mission of let's find all these dogs because we don't know how many there are.
It's in the middle of nowhere. It is a giant long road of country. There's a few houses here and there staggered, but otherwise it's just all country and all woods.
Ground Search and Rescue KW says a Good Samaritan contacted them after seeing the dogs. Multiple rescuers and volunteers have since helped out.
They are all of similar breed. They were all in very similar condition. All the information that we've gotten between the rescues and everybody involved, the dogs are all in the same sort of scenario.
A total of 14 dogs ranging from puppies to around 4 years old are now in the care of several rescues. Many had heavy levels of matting, ticks, and fleas, and several are suffering from cherry eye. Chambers says overall, the ones in care appear to have been fed, their nails are maintained, and they had some level of maintained hygiene.
They will be eventually available for adoption as well, but right now all of these dogs need time and TLC.
Some of them had their eyes were matted, closed, very hard for them to walk. Their legs are matted to their stomachs. A lot of them have cherry eye. Some of them appear to have hernias. They definitely haven't been well cared for whatsoever.
The dogs are believed to all be a type of Shih Tzu mix and were found near private land. Rescuers believe they were likely dumped from a puppy mill and say there are at least 4 more missing that they are trying to secure.
Our team has been going out with our heat sensing scope, so we're able to kind of see them moving through things at night. During the day and at night, they blend in really, really well with the leaves because of their coloring and about how matted they are.
Now, the rescue teams do say they have teams on the ground searching for dogs and do not need any more physical help searching for the dogs, but they will take any information or donations that people may have.
The reality is I don't know how long they would do very well out there. Many of them can't see because the matting is so bad around their eyes, and they have a level of blindness now from that matting being so bad for as long as it was.
During the initial search for the dogs, rescue groups also found a dead dog in a garbage bag. Rescuers say that dog appeared to be of another breed and do not believe the incidents are connected, but say dogs being dumped on the road happens all too often, and the area may be a bit of a dumping ground for unwanted animals. Tony.
Oh, such a sad story. Okay, Colton, thank you for that information. CTV's Colton Weens with that report for us. A new chapter for a group that is working to address the hunger crisis. Coming up, Spencer Turcotte has more on a new beginning for Food for Kids Waterloo region at a critical time.
Those clouds expected to clear out as we get closer to your evening and overnight hours, but potentially more wet weather could be on the way. I'll break it down in your full forecast coming up a bit later.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
The search for childcare has been an ongoing focus for families in Waterloo region. Tonight, a local care center is marking an expansion and new spaces. Emmanuel at Sandhills on Sandhills Road in Baden now has space for 110 children, ages 18 months to 4 years. Now, it is also certified by the Child and Nature Alliance of Canada for its focus on outdoor programming.
We are enrolled in the $10 a day childcare plan, which means a significant savings to families who are now paying $22 a day, which was previously $65, $55 a day. If anyone has young children, you know there is a real childcare crisis right now. There's a lack of spaces in our region. So being able to offer 110 more spaces to our community is life-changing for many families. So we're very happy to be able to open our doors and provide more quality childcare to more families.
And again, that's on Sandhills Road in Baden. A local organization working to help provide nutrition for children is taking a new step. Food for Kids Waterloo region has moved to a larger facility to meet growing demand. CTV Spencer Turcotte stopped by the new space.
And it's going to go around to the other side. As the need to fill children's bellies grows, Food for Kids Waterloo region has had to grow along with it.
In an effort to reach our strategic objective by June 2028, we're going to serve 2,250 deserving children in Kitchener-Waterloo, which includes Cambridge, Wilmot, Woolwich, Kitchener, and Waterloo. And in order to do that, we need space.
We pack 3 meals and 3 snacks for each day that a child is not in school.
So they've moved from their old location to the new spot at 300 Trillium Drive in Kitchener.
We know that approximately 4,000 children in the region need our support, and right now that's probably close to 6,000.
The nonprofit charitable organization serves food insecure children ages 1 through 14 outside the classroom of 126 local elementary schools. That's 170 days of the year between breaks, holidays, and the summer.
Currently 257 children on that wait list, and we have room and the space in order to help.
About 50% of the children in our program have cultural, dietary, or allergy restrictions.
Staff say the new space will allow them to get and store food at a higher rate now that they have sufficient room for it.
We have enough food in the world to ensure that children are fed. It's an access problem, and we need to do better to partner together and find ways to solve for that to meet that need.
The new facility is only part of the equation. Financial and food donations certainly help.
These kids deserve the best part of every one of us in whatever way that we can give. So this is a dream come true that we have more space to be able to serve these deserving children.
Spencer Turcotte, CTV News Kitchener.
All right, a live look outside now at what is nearly a full moon. This is a live shot, and we're showing you this because it's a little unusual to be so dark right now in our 6 o'clock show, but after that time change on the weekend, we are back to standard time. So this is going to be a super moon when it's full in just 2 days. We'll have a look at our forecast a little bit later with Alex. And also coming up, the power of Christmas pudding, a 75-year tradition, is back in Kitchener, bringing an army of people together. And next, from jack-o'-lantern to lunch, an animal sanctuary that's looking for your unwanted leftover pumpkins. Alex is here with our forecast as we look ahead to the next 7 days, which, by the way, is going to take us almost into the middle of November. And, you know, we changed the clocks back on Saturday night, but it was still a surprise to me when I looked out our window an hour ago and noticed that it was dark at 5:30 in the afternoon.
We enjoyed a beautiful sunset during the 5 o'clock show.
Yes.
That sun going down 5:11 tonight officially, which is hard to believe that we're at this point.
And I mean, I really noticed it on the drive in today. The sun was so low in the sky at 4 o'clock when I drove in. So I guess we are heading into hibernation season.
We are, and it happens every year, but for some reason it's still a little bit of a shock to our system. If you want to look, take a look at how dark it is outside right now. Let's take a live look from Waterloo this hour. And yes, it is, that sun officially has set, but like we said, hopefully you got to enjoy that sunset a little bit earlier. We got to see some really nice cotton candy clouds after a bit of a wet day that we saw to start off your work and school week as well. So yes, the good news, the earlier showers making its way towards the east for us tonight, and conditions are expected to clear even more as we get into the overnight hours. Around 1 a.m. we shouldn't even see many clouds out there this hour, making for a pretty nice Tuesday, some sunshine, high of 11 degrees. That is what we're expected to see. So it's not until Wednesday, we're going to just pause it here in the morning, 10 o'clock or so, at least for us here in Waterloo region. That's when we could start to see a little bit more of that wet weather. And if you are going to be a little bit further north as well, potentially heavy at times as well, getting into the rest of your Wednesday afternoon and into the early evening hours. So temperature-wise, many of us, especially in the north, Moose City, Timmins sitting at 4 or 5 degrees, single digits tonight. And a couple of you are actually going to be in the double digits above seasonal. Goderich, Sarnia sitting at 11 and 12 this hour. For us here in Waterloo region, we are sitting at 9 degrees this hour and getting into the overnight, expected to drop down to just 1. Again, those clouds that we are seeing expected to clear as we get into the overnight, and winds becoming a little bit lighter. That was another thing. You may have noticed that on Friday during Halloween. It was quite gusty wind-wise. Today, 30 kilometers an hour, wind gusts up to 50, depending on where you might be joining us from. So tomorrow, 11 degrees, that sunshine expected to stick around. UV index sitting at about a 3, which is considered a moderate level for us. And looking at our almanac for the day, daytime highs and lows, we are sitting pretty seasonal for this time of year. Minus 7.3. That was our overnight record low that was set back on this day, 1984. And we hit a high of 22 degrees back in 1961. And of course, that sunrise and sunset, really noticing that today. So officially, sunrise at 7 a.m. and as we mentioned, that sun setting tonight at 5:11 p.m. So for the next several days, that sunshine, as we said, looking ahead to your Tuesday, Waterloo region, before we could see some periods of rain expected for your Wednesday, getting back into that double digits for just a couple of days before the temperature is expected to dip down just so slightly for the rest of your week. For Lambton, Kenton, Essex, increasing cloud expected for your Tuesday, high of 14 before we could see some showers roll in for your Wednesday. And Southern Georgian Bay, slight chance to see a bit more wet weather for tomorrow before we could see a little bit more of that cloud cover move in for your Wednesday, and then potentially see more periods of rain. And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture, a stunning submission from Braden, the very curious great horned owl, and the owl was in an old oak tree. Braden taking this shot on Friday at a local park in Waterloo and said it was just in time for Halloween. A beautiful photo. Thank you so much for sending this and being tonight's Weather Watcher.
That is stunning.
That is so stunning. It's looking right at the camera, too.
The detail, oh yeah, he's got his eyes on us. That's for sure.
Yeah, watching everyone out there trick-or-treating.
Thanks for that, Braden. All right, now that November's here, cooler, wintry weather, I can barely say it. I don't want to say it. Right around the corner, though.
Not yet, but like you said, right around the corner. We had a chance to speak with Dave Phillips, climatologist with Environment Canada, earlier today to get his early insight on what we possibly could see locally this winter season.
There's three possibilities, Alec. It could be warmer than normal, colder than normal, or in between, seasonable. So those are the three possibilities. And there's, no guarantee, of course, but likely what we're seeing, the Canadian models and the US models all agree. We're all together in concert as to what the winter should be. We're calling for it to be a little warmer than normal, especially at the beginning of the season, and particularly because of the warm summer and the warm fall that we had. So a lot of that heat that's still left in the lakes and land and rivers is going to be retained, and so that's going to maybe begin winter as being a little on the mild side. But by the dead of winter, say late January, February, we may see things transition to more kind of a seasonable, what you kind of would expect.
And so potentially, can't get away from no winter.
No.
Maybe a little bit later.
We won't have a West Coast style winter, I don't think, this year, no.
Dave also touching on how La Nina is playing a role in all of this as well, so you can watch that extended interview on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. And of course, things can change, but interesting to get an early look.
It is, and Dave's a wealth of information. I love how he breaks it down in such easy to understand terms, too, all of that knowledge.
Yeah, he's great.
All right, Alex, thank you.
Thank you.
And now that dust has settled on Halloween, an animal sanctuary is looking for leftover pumpkins. CTV's Ashley Bacon now on how used jack-o'-lanterns can become important meals.
Meet one-year-old Winnie, a pig who happens to love your leftover Halloween pumpkins.
So they're very well appreciated by them, of course. The chickens love the pumpkins. Even the bunny rabbits absolutely love them. It's really good for their teeth as well.
Shelby's Ranch, a non-profit animal rescue in Puslinch, is collecting leftover Halloween pumpkins for their residents to enjoy.
It's actually nice enrichment for the animals too. Since it's kind of a game, I kind of, cut it up for them and they pick away and they'll be at that for hours. They totally love it. But typically the pumpkins last pretty good, especially now the weather's getting cold.
And with around 70 mouths to feed, each pumpkin donation goes a long way to help out the sanctuary. From bunnies to chickens, all seem to get in on the smorgasbord. But some pumpkins can't be converted to feed.
Carve-outs are totally okay, as long as they have no paint, basically, stuff like that. Any chemicals or additives that the animals can't have.
At the Donkey Sanctuary of Canada, also in Puslinch, they received a large donation from the Art Gallery of Guelph and are not accepting public donations. However, in an email to CTV News, they say in part, it's an enriching treat for donkeys to enjoy pushing around while doubling as a nutritious treat. According to the region of Waterloo, around 50,000 pumpkins are used for Halloween in the region, creating around 200 metric tons of organic waste. In an email, the region says by using your green bin to compost your pumpkins, you are recycling this waste into compost to help grow more pumpkins and other crops, and preserving space in the region's only landfill. With a reminder that any pumpkins with paint, candle wax, or stickers will have to be thrown out into regular garbage.
Oh, is that yummy?
Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Puslinch.
The Premier is standing behind the ad that gave the trade war another twist, but also revealing new details today about the Prime Minister's push to get the ad pulled. That's next.
A girl's dream, a woman's journey, a queen's legacy. Tina, the Tina Turner musical, hits the stage at Center in the Square for 3 performances November 28th and 29th. Enter at ctvkitchener.ca now for your chance to win a pair of tickets.
The Premier remains unapologetic about Ontario's anti-tariff ad that led to a breakdown in Canada-U.S. trade talks. Doug Ford says the ad spurred debate in the U.S. Senate. Others aren't so sure. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
Trade barriers hurt every American worker.
A week after it was pulled from U.S. TV networks, there's bigger bluster from the premier defending his anti-tariff ad featuring the voice of former President Ronald Reagan.
There's never been an ad in the history of this world that has seen 12.4 billion views.
On Friday, the Prime Minister revealed he hadn't wanted the ad to run at all.
Did you inform Mr. Ford that this is something that you did not want to go forward with?
Yes.
Doug Ford doesn't want to fall into what he calls a bear trap of explaining who said what.
I had a different recollection of our conversation.
Sharing that Mark Carney did keep up the pressure.
He called me from Asia a couple times and said, pull the ad.
Not relenting until after trade talks with the U.S. abruptly stopped.
No deal's better than a bad deal. And that's what President Trump wants.
While Ford is unrepentant.
I did apologize to the president. President was offended by the act, or by the ad, rather.
Ford calls the "I'm sorry" the Prime Minister's prerogative, but it's not something you'd catch him doing.
I'll never apologize to Donald Trump, ever. They put me on a stretching rack, I wouldn't apologize.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 46.
Ford credits the ad with reviving debate on tariffs in the U.S. Senate.
Donald Trump has stopped the discussions because a TV ad hurt his feelings.
4 Republicans jumped over and voted against tariffs on Canada.
But those are Republicans who'd already spoken out against tariffs before the ad was on television.
It didn't sway any votes in the Senate, right? It wasn't the greatest ad in human history. It was an unforced error.
I wish the Premier would spend as much time developing a jobs plan for Ontario as he is looking at the number of views on his ad.
Worried about communities like Ingersoll, where GM is ending production of an electric delivery van because of low demand.
I want to tell you what one of the members said to me. He said, this ego clash is killing us.
Despite all the back and forth over the ad, the Premier insists his relationship with the Prime Minister is still strong, and he believes Mark Carney is doing his best to reach a trade deal for Canada. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
And that provincial ban on speed cameras has now become law. The bill, which passed through the legislature last week, received royal assent today. However, tickets can still be issued until November 14th. Okay, let's check in with Leanne Evans now to update our top stories. Leanne, a tragic story. A Kitchener school bus driver died in a crash on the 401 near London yesterday morning.
And the bus was carrying students from KCI in Kitchener when it veered off the road and into a ditch. 4 students also taken to hospital with minor injuries. 52-year-old Mark Naylor was a veteran bus driver from Kitchener and is being remembered by family and friends as a happy-go-lucky guy who loved his job. Police are still investigating what caused the crash and led to Naylor's death. A Kitchener man has been arrested and charged after a break-in and assault on 2 inmates last night at the Grand Valley Institution for Women in Kitchener. Police say the suspect climbed a fence and got into the grounds of the federal prison. Investigators believe the suspects and victims are not known to one another.
And looking at what our digital team's working on tonight, Leanne, details about a coveted collection for the Guelph Public Library. What's this all about?
Yeah, beloved children's author Robert Munch has donated his personal archives to the library. The collection will include original drafts from his stories, notes from publishers, fan letters, photos, artifacts, and more. For more information on that, you can go to our website to read the full story. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or as always, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Some history there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any one of us who grew up without a Robert Munch story. It's
exactly
such a part of the fabric of literature for kids. Okay, Leanne, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, a locksmith in the heart of Galt has been helping to protect the community for generations. Tonight, a look at how they combine old school craftsmanship with modern security technology on this week's edition of Made Right Here.
I'm Ryan. I'm the current owner of Fraser Lock and Safe, located in Cambridge. We specialize in Medeco high security cylinders and keys. We assist local businesses with their security needs. Fraser Lock and Safe has actually been in business since 1883 under different names. It originally started as Fraser Hardware. The needs of homeowners and businesses really haven't changed in the last 150 years. People still need keys. They still need to know that their businesses are secure. The good thing is that all of our customers, even as they grow, develop, change owners, can count on us to have the records and things to support their security and make additional keys, make additional locks as they need them. And knowing that we're there to support them, they support us. One of the wonderful things about having been in business as long as we have is that we have a variety of equipment that ranges from 1980 to current day. We have a hunch that was made in 1989 that we still use every single day. And we have a modern CNC key mill that we use every day. Our customers vary from single residential clients who just need to replace a lock to entire municipalities that need a city hall rekeyed or an arena rekeyed or universities. And if you are walking through Kitchener-Waterloo and you look at the front door and you see the word Medico on the lock, there's a pretty good chance we were the ones to put it in. One of the great things about being located in downtown Cambridge is that we do get a lot of walk-in traffic, which allows us to develop those personal relationships with our clients. Our customers know that they can count on us. They can bring us keys and say, you know, we were here in 1989 and we have records that go back to the 1980s on what padlock that company bought that day. And we can look up the records and say, okay, you need a replacement after 30 years? We can do that, no problem. Our quality and reliability of the components that we sell, they know that they can count on Fraser Lock and Safe for those things.
Well, I don't know if you're feeling this too or not, but it's kind of been a blue Monday. Just ahead, Heather Centerin on the heartbreak and the healing after a high-drama World Series Game 7 that captivated a country.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
If you are feeling a bit of lingering sadness today, you are not alone. You could call it a heartbreak hangover following the Toronto Blue Jays' extra innings Game 7 loss to the LA Dodgers in a World Series that truly went the distance and drew so many people in for an incredible ride. CTV's Heather Centerin joins us now with more. Heather, how appropriate that it's you and me once again sort of closing the chapter on this story we've been covering together several times this month. I notice you're not wearing blue and white today, though.
I'm going to be honest, Tony, as silly as it may sound, I chose black today because I felt a bit like I was in mourning, and that's how many Blue Jays fans are feeling today after that devastating loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
This was season ticket holder Graham McCormick's view for Game 7 of the World Series. Canada's team inches away from winning it all.
The clock literally struck midnight and the dream was over.
Going from being so excited for the series to start just over a week ago with fellow fans to now, reality has sunk in for the Waterloo resident.
It was just, shock and sadness. Might have been easier if it was a bit of a blowout, but, to, be so close and for it to slip away, I think will create a lot of lessons for everyone on the team and I think, for the fans.
For some, the heartbreak is intense.
What it's done for me and now my daughter passing on to her, it's meant so much.
A University of Guelph psychology professor says it's not all doom and gloom. There are good things that come from their World Series run.
It's more positive and more constructive when we realize, yeah, you know what, they did amazing. And so many people came together, and that's something we should be proud of.
Coming together to rally behind the same team made it extra special.
We still have the friends and family who we watched the games with, who we discussed it with. And we can always go and still hang out with them and enjoy the good times and make other memories.
Over at Morty's in Waterloo, the last few weeks have been nonstop. Staff saw firsthand how much the Jays meant to fans.
Like young to old, like we've got people, who are clearly university students, high-fiving people who have been Morty's regulars for 40 years. And everybody's on the same page cheering for the Blue Jays.
As for McCormick, as much as he's not happy with how it ended, his voice could use the break.
I've yelled for, I guess, 18 plus innings over the last 3 days, but it's a small price to pay.
Plus, there's comfort in knowing there's always next year.
Some fans tell me they're hoping all that energy and excitement from Jays fans continues into next year, as that can help teams win when they know there's such a strong fan base behind them every step of the way. Tony.
And has there ever been this time? All right, Heather, thank you. CTV's Heather Centerin live with us tonight. Okay, now here's a preview of a series that our national news team's working on.
Tomorrow.
When did you first discover that you had this?
When I was 16 years old. He spent his entire life suffering in silence.
I had to go grab the coffee, almost third-degree burns on your arm.
Until a chance encounter on the job.
She immediately looked at me and said,
I can fix that.
How this award-winning cameraman got a second shot.
I wonder, what else would I do? What else would I do?
Tomorrow on CTV National News and at ctvnews.ca.
Well, the clouds expected to clear out as we get closer to the overnight hours. I'll let you know how things are looking first thing in the morning and wake up weather coming up.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, let's join Leanne Evans now for a preview of a story that's coming up later tonight. Leanne.
Tony, a new youth wellness hub in Cambridge is connecting young people to mental health and substance use supports. It's one of 10 new hubs the provincial government is adding to the network, bringing the total to 32 across Ontario. The province is investing more than $8 million over 3 years to help expand these services. The new hub offers free walk-in services for youth aged 12 to 15. We'll bring you more on that at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you very much. And Alex is here now with our wake-up weather for Monday. I guess the one good thing about changing the clocks back is that the sun, when it does come out, is going to come out a little earlier in the morning now.
I noticed that first thing in the morning, which hopefully will help my 6 a.m. wake-up calls that much easier.
Make it a little better,
yeah. So in terms of overnight, though, clouds expected to clear out. We should be dipping down to around 1 degree. But here's a look at how things could be in the morning. By 6 a.m., we should be sitting around 3 clear conditions. By 10, though, mainly sunny. 9 degrees, so a nice start to the day. And again, tomorrow expected high 11, and we should be in for some really nice sunshine. Before again, Wednesday, we've got potentially some more wet weather coming our way.
November weather.
November weather.
Yep. Well, speaking of November, we're at the time of year where we like to talk about an annual tradition that is in full swing at a church in Kitchener.
The St. John's Pudding Factory has been operating for more than 75 years, making hundreds of pounds of the Christmas dessert each and every year. CTV's Krista Simpson stopped by.
A well-oiled assembly line, measuring the ingredients for Christmas pudding, mixing for 5 minutes straight, then filling the cans and tamping them down, covering the tops before they go into the steamer for 4 hours. The St. John's Pudding Factory has been doing this for decades.
This is the 76th year of the Pudding Factory. The Pudding Factory began in 1949.
This year's team made up of 40 or more volunteers. Many are from the Church of St. John the Evangelist, though anyone is welcome. Jackie Dunbar comes 2.5 hours from her home in Port Elgin to help.
We came to this church when I lived in Kitchener, and I loved the people. You see the same people year after year.
Absent, though, Mindy Hurley, who volunteered with the factory since its start. She passed away shortly after her 100th birthday.
We're thinking of her because she was such a lively, vivid presence in the church.
She did it forever, and she's sorely missed.
While making pudding is hard work, the volunteers say doing it together is what keeps them coming back.
The camaraderie is great. Of course, the making something that generates income both for the church and for outreach projects that's important.
The Pudding Factory is the church's largest fundraiser, supporting its ministries as well as other charities.
This year, volunteers will make about 900 pounds of pudding.
That's less than the 3,500 pounds of pudding the factory would produce in its heyday 20 or 30 years ago. But the team is grateful that there's still strong demand.
Happily for us, there is still a market. People still love their puddings. We're still going, and it's a lot of fun.
It's just great, and I hope it will continue for the next 100 years.
Those who ordered puddings can pick them up at the church this weekend, with extras available for sale as well, and samples for those interested in tasting this tradition.
It has such a rich, multifaceted flavor that very few foods have these days.
Even those that don't like Christmas pudding, they love this Christmas pudding.
I steam my pudding, I douse it in brandy, I set it aflame, and then serve it with hard sauce. Delicious.
Krista Simpson, CTV News, Kitchener.
Well, now it's got me thinking about traditional Christmas baking. I mean, there's also the shortbread, but I got to send a shout out to my mom for her apple pear pie that she makes every year.
That sounds so good.
Bringing two flavors together like that with homemade pastry.
Yeah, but to your point, like Christmas cookies, like the sugar cookies, gingerbread, of course. My family, obviously, we're Italian, so they don't make those, but a couple of Italian Christmas cookies are pretty nice, too.
Oh,
Almond.
yes. Yes, absolutely. All right, now before we go, I have to ask you if you're feeling more tired or not at all today with the time change and with the... Did you stay up late to watch?
I did stay up late to watch, and I thought, you know, getting that hour of sleep definitely helped, but trying to go to bed last night, I was just ready to crash nice and early, and I think after tonight, maybe I'll get back to it.
So was I, and I got about 9 hours of sleep last night, and I still woke up feeling like a zombie today. So I think it's just going to take another day for everybody to reset.
Yes, one more day.
And
we'll
recover. Yeah, we were hit with a lot on the weekend.
It was a busy one.
That's right. We'll be back here tonight at 11:30 with your next local news. Have a good night.
Take care.